It might be because my my iPad almost died. All right, we're streaming back on Facebook. Okay, so I hate wood burning. I hate wood burning. It makes me itchy and everything. So I came up with this new petal. It looks exactly like the Dean Michael petal. Yes, you use more mesh, but I would rather use more mesh than wood burn. That's how I feel about that. So you can do what the normal Dean Michael petal if you would like. You're just going to have to wood burn your piece, but you'll only need 10 inches for the normal Dean Michael petal. For the double Dean, I just called it the double Dean. You're going to cut a piece at 20 inches. This is a 10-inch roll. So we want to make a perfect square. So if you're doing a normal Dean Michael, you would cut it 10 by 10. I am doing the double Dean, so I'm going to cut it 10 by 20. So I like to put my ruler, and I just use a metal ruler from the dollar store. And I'm going to cut my mesh at 20 inches. Okay. Again, you can do a single one, but with this one, you don't have to worry about any frays and stuff like that. So I cut my, now we have a 10 by 20 inch piece. I'm going to flip it over so it's curl up. So you can see that curl goes up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right corner. I'm going to bring it straight down so you can see that factory edge at the top and the bottom. I'm going to bring this straight down so that it line and have that, this line up with the bottom here. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take the left side. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to bring it down just before. You don't want to put it past, this factory edge. I just put it just before. Same with this side, just before. Now you can put a clip to keep them together. Especially if you're a beginner, clips are your friend. Once you get good at doing these, you don't have to use clips all the time. So you got this big old triangle, okay? I'm going to flip this triangle to the top. So I'm going to bring this bottom to the top, take my clip off. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that these two factory edges are on top of each other. Now you will have a few little frays from the edges. You can just cut those off, but you won't see anything else. Okay, so this, you'll see these factory edges, they are what needs to go nicely on top of each other. And you could put a little, this is where a clip comes in handy. Just put a clip on there to make sure it'll stay together. Okay? So this is what we have. A triangle. I have my factory edge. It's to the left of me right now. Okay? Everything's lined up. I'm going to turn. Because I'm right-handed, I turn the point, because this is the point that you're going to see on our petal. I turn it to the left, and then I like to just kind of stretch it in the middle a little bit. And that kind of gives me almost an invisible line down the center of my mesh, okay? So if I just kind of stretch it just a bit with my two fingers in between, so the tip of the corner is in between these two fingers. I'm pulling it a bit. I can see that imaginary line, and then I'm going to squeeze that together. And that gives me the center of the bottom of my petal. Okay? And then I'm going to scrunch or pleat 3 times this way, meaning I'm going to take my, you're not going to let go of the center. I'm going to take my pointer finger and I'm going to go about, I don't know, about 2 inches up and drag that to the 3. Okay? I'm going to flip it around. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Again, 3. With my finger. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you don't wood burn and you're using a 10-inch piece of mesh without wood burning it, do you see how this is getting so tattered at the corners here and everything? That is what your edges will look like if you don't wood burn that 10 by 10 piece. Okay, just saying. So if you don't want to see all that, you're either going to have to wood burn it or you just do a petal like I'm doing. Are you kidding me? What the heck? Sorry, YouTube. I know you guys are still watching. My whole video just went out. My iPad died. All right, hopefully I'm back up. All right, and then I'm going to elastic band it, and then once it's in its elastic band, you're going to take your petal and you're just going to open it so it opens really nice like that and everything, and we have a nice petal. Okay, then we're going to put the petal into the pre-loaded board. So I put it in maybe like 1/4 of an inch and do the zip tie up. I'm not sure if I'm still live. Anybody see? And then you can pre-make your petals. Sorry, I'm having problems with my iPad, so that's why it's being funny. Okay, so I'm just going to go, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the, so instead of going clockwise, I'm going to go counterclockwise because my factory edges are on the left. Okay, we're going to, and I want each of the factory edges going towards the left the same way. So I would rather have this folded edge being seen rather than the factory edge. So just in case it frays or something, you're not going to see that. Okay, so it's just easier instead of lifting your mesh and everything. If your factory edge is on your left, go clockwise. If you do your petal and your factory edge is on the right, just go counterclockwise and then or go clockwise. Okay, so you're going to need 16 of these. And again, you may have little strings. We're just going to cut those off. But you shouldn't see any frays. Okay. Sorry, guys. I use a live streaming camera, which is called a Mevo, and the Mevo is operated by an iPad. So when your iPad dies, it's not a good thing. Yes, this is the yellow poly burlap. So I pre-made my petals. So there's a little string down there. I'm just going to snip it off. What's the matter?
I was going to ask you if you're charging for your iPad thing.
It is, but you know what's funny? I had 2 chargers here, so I noticed that it was at totally died.
Oh, so it's
no, I have it plugged in now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're doing yellow solid, and I will show you this petal again. We're going to do, I'll show you it again with, we're going to do the yellow window pane poly burlap. So you see, I just kind of place it on top. The more you don't touch poly burlap, the less it'll fray. Okay, this stuff is very temperamental. It's amazing to work with because it's nice and soft, it's moldable, it does what you want it to do, but if you sneeze on it, it will fray. So you unless if you're doing a petal, now I'm going to be doing two different petals. We're going to be using 10 by 10 pieces that I didn't wood burn. I didn't have to wood burn them because you do not see the edges. With a petal like this, where you do see the edges, this is the kind of petal you will have to wood burn. Or you may decide, I hate wood burning, I'd rather just use a little more extra mesh. And that's why I came up with the double D. I would rather use a little extra mesh. But it makes a beautiful, almost perfect petal. Can you guys see that? Like, it's almost perfect. And that is from lining up. Sorry guys, I am like a total mess here. That's from lining up, making sure my edges were lined up nicely. Look at the mess just from my iPad dying. Okay. All right, sorry TikTok, you're being totally ignored, but you guys can see better than anybody else can. All right, so you can see every single petal, my factory edge is on the left-hand side. You want to make sure that on this the same way for all your petals. If I did it this way, it will look funny. See how the factory edge is here? If I put it here, like the backwards, it just looks funny. It just looks much, much nicer and neater if everything's going the same way. Now, if you don't have little rubber bands, that's okay. You can make your petal, and as long as your board is already preloaded, you just can put it right into the zip tie without banding it, okay? And I'll show you what I mean in a second. All right, one more last one on row 2. I am not putting any green leaves on this because we're going to be adding red. I just want to keep it yellow and red. Okay, that's row 2, 16 pieces. Now we're going to go around and snip these off, these zip ties, the zip tie tails. This is a zip tie gun, which if you do a lot of Unique in the Creek wreaths, saves on your hands because it tightens and cuts your zip tie all at the same time. If you do not have one of these or some wire cutters, just use an old pair of scissors. That will work as well. Just don't use your good ribbon scissors, okay? Because it will dull them, but just use old scissors. These are my good ribbon scissors. I know these are my ribbon scissors. I could put a piece of masking tape on there so I remind myself, but I know that these are my good ribbon scissors, and any other scissors I would use for cutting tie tails. Okay. And then now row 3, the next row. Now you can see how big this is. This is 28 inches in diameter already. The next row, I'm going to be using this yellow window pane poly burlap, only because I had half a roll left and I thought it would look really cool just to break up some of the yellow. So again, I'm doing a double Dean, rolling it out. It too is 10 inches wide. I'm rolling it out, and I'm going to cut, we only need 8 of these. So I'm going to cut, you need to cut 8 pieces at 20 inches. So put the end of your mesh on the 0. I take now I use a ruler just because my eyesight's not the greatest. So to keep a straight line, I use my metal ruler. Okay. So we're going to do it the exact same way. 20-inch piece. I'm going to turn it curl up. We're going to do the exact same. I'm going to bring the center down so that this top factory edge is going down the middle, and I'm just going to line up here just before. Don't go past that edge because then you're going to see this. You're just going to go right before it. Okay. Fold it. You're going to bring this one down. Fold it. Then we're going to flip from the bottom to the top. And this is where you're going to make sure that your factory edges are nicely lined up, just like that. I like to just put a clip on it to keep it like that. Okay, again, there's the point. That's the top of the petal there. I'm going to put my 2 fingers so that the top of the petal is right in between. I'm going to kind of pull so I know that it's the center. Squeeze, and then I got the center part from here. Then I'm going to do 3 this way. 1, 2, 3. And then you can, if you want, you can go 1, 2, 3. I just find it easier to flip it around for me. So once you figure out your own groove, you can do it whatever you want. Okay, so if you don't have, and notice that my factory edges are still going the same way on this mesh as this mesh. I want to keep everything uniform. If you don't have, you know, little rubber bands, you're going to take the end of your petal and you're going to put it right into the zip tie. So you don't have to rubber band them if you don't have it. Lots of us rubber band it just so we can pre-make, you know, sit and watch a movie and pre-make all our petals. And then you just throw the wreath together. Okay, and there we go. So it's the same color yellow, it's just a different style, but it's both poly burlap. So again, if you're going to do this with a 10-inch piece, you absolutely have to wood burn it. Alrighty, but I have mine done, so they're all with the edges going the same way. If you keep everything more as uniform as you can, your flower wreath turns out a lot better. I'm sorry, but I'm not the greatest Dean Michael petal maker, but I can rock these double Deans, no problem. They are so easy. I know you use more mesh, but man, the time you save and it makes such almost like the perfect petal, I think for me, in my mind, it's worth it. And again, you can see everything is going the same way. The next two rows, we're going to be doing different petals. So you'll see a lot, especially in unique wreath creators, you'll see people are mixing up different petals all the time and coming up with the most beautiful combinations of flowers. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm going to try it too. Not that I haven't done it before, but. Now poly burlap's pretty thick, but like I said, it's soft and it's very manageable. Like it will sculpt into anything you want and it'll stay like that. I do not recommend you trying a normal Dean Michael petal with like a normal deco mesh. It just won't work. A horizontal wide stripe will work because it's got the same characteristics as poly burlap. It's just not as soft. It's a lot more stiff than poly burlap. I need to make one more petal. I thought I had made them all. One more of this one. Isn't that going to be pretty? the red with the yellow, but I have red poly burlap coming in there too. Okay, flip it over, curl up. We're going to bring that down to the center. Bring the other side down. Okay, make a big triangle. Bring that right up and making sure that my edges are on top of each other. Make it one uniform petal. We're going to kind of just stretch it in the middle just a little bit and then pinch. 1, 2, 3. I like to flip it around. I find I can scrunch it a little easier. If you have a little piece of like a little triangle corner, I just bring them under. And we're going to put it right into the board. Okay, that is row 3. Okay, now this, you'll see a lot of people will do, say, a bee wreath, a bee flower wreath. So they'll do the yellow, and they'll use this window pane mesh, the poly burlap window pane mesh, in like a black or a white or a black and white. So that this row is where they put the black in. And then they'll continue on with the rest of the rows in yellow. Or you can do a, ladybug inspired one where you do red, and then these would be black, and then you continue on with the red. Okay? I only used, 8 times 20, 160 inches of this, because I only used 8. And 16 times 20. I think I used 1 full roll of the yellow on row 2, on the outside row, okay? And that's your, if you don't want to use that much mesh, then you can wood burn and make your normal D micro petal. Okay, the next petal I'm going to do is the lolli. The lolli petal. This is the lolli petal. It looks like a spoon, right? It looks like a spoon. All right, you do not have to wood burn this petal either. This is a 10 by 10 piece. And I'm going to show you in 1 second how you're going to do it. So I'm just going to, what I'm wanting to do is just change up a little bit. So I'm going to just trim off some of that extra mesh at the end. And this is going in row 4. Oh, wait a second. Nope, hold on. Hold on. I forgot. I am doing something special on row 4. This is where your red's going to come in. Let's preload that again. So on row 4, I'm going to do 2 petals in 1. I want to bring in some red, okay, from the center here. So I'm going to make the lolli petal, which is a 10 by 10 piece. So let's roll it out. Okay, I'm cutting it at 10 inches. Curl up. Factory edge to the top left, bottom right, and it's in a diamond shape. Okay, taking that top corner, bringing it down to the bottom corner. Okay, and I'm lining up the edges, so you just kind of flatten it down. So if you have a 10 by 10 piece, it will line up perfectly, okay? I'm going to flip it This time my corner's to the right because this is going to be the bottom of the petal. I'm going to stretch it a little bit like I did with the Dean and pinch it in the middle, okay? So it kind of makes a T. And then what I'm going to do is about, okay, so that's 16, about 3 inches up from the bottom, I'm going to bring in this outside to the center, and then I'm going to bring the bottom to the center, and it makes kind of like a, you know, one of those things, a jellyfish or whatever, or an umbrella, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top corner and I'm going to bring it right down and match it up to the bottom corner here and hold it. I'm then going to take the bottom corner and then drag it to meet the corner. And then we're going to tuck it in. Okay, so that is your lolly petal. Now, I'm going to put a rubber band around it because we're going to add a petal on top of it. I'm going to add a red petal on top. Okay, so you can either keep it like this, and what you want to do is make sure that these corners on the opposite side, if you want it so it's not sticking up, so sometimes if you put it into your wreath, it's kind of lifted up a bit. What you can do is take your glue gun, and then these 2 corners that are on the back, you can actually put a dab of glue, just a bit, on that corner, bring it over the 2 corners, and we'll put a clip on it. This flattens it a little bit so it's not sticking up so much. Okay. But most of mine are sticking up anyways. So, but that is what you can do if you don't want them so high up off your wreath. You can take the back corner, fold it over just a bit, add a touch of glue, and it flattens it a little more. Alrighty. And there we go. Now, like with the poly burlap, you can mold it nicely. Make it round. Okay, you want all of them pretty much the same size. This one is going to look a little different because I didn't glue all the rest of them, so I'm going to make a new one so they all look the same. I don't feel like gluing all the edges. I just wanted to show you that if gluing the back corners does make it look a bit different. So top to the bottom. Didn't cut that too much in a great square, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna kind of pull it in the center, bring the top into the center, bring the bottom into the center, so we have kind of our umbrella. We're gonna take the top corner, bring it down to the bottom corner, bring this one down to the bottom corner, and then I'm going to rubber band it about 2 inches from the bottom. Okay, so you can use your cutting mat or whatever. So about 2 inches from here is where you're going to put your rubber band. And then you can sculpt it. Okay, now you're not going to see in here because usually you're layering these, so you don't see the inside. You can also, there's another way you can do it too. It looks a little bit better. I don't know why, but you can flip it over and turn it. It looks the same. For some reason though, the corner, the 2 corners in here, they stay flatter when you kind of flip it inside out. And I don't know why. It just does. It's weird. Okay, so I have 8 lolly petals. Now I'm going to do 8 feather petals. Okay. Or small gerberas, whatever you want to call it. There's a million names out there. What you're going to do for this one is I'm taking a 10 by 10 piece of red. Again, curl up, turning it into a diamond shape, factory edge, top left, bottom right. Okay, top corner to the bottom corner. Now you could probably do a Star Trek petal if you want. I like this kind of petal because it's all uniform, and then the tip of it is right in the center. So I like this one. What you're going to do is take, I'm right-handed, so I start with my right. I'm going to take this whole corner and bring it right down the center, matching up the edge here. Like that. I'm going to take my left side, do the exact same thing. I'm only going to go, but I'm going to go over this center line. I'm just going to go over it just a little bit so that we have a nice point up here. And again, you're going to line up your edge just like that. So it almost looks like a kite. Okay? Kite. Okay. Now I want to make this small because what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to put it in the center, in the middle of this lolly petal. So I am going to go up about 4 inches. So I'm going to put the end of my petal here on the 18-inch mark. And I'm going to go actually about 3 inches. So if I go up 3 inches, that's right here. Okay, so I'm going to pinch it in the center. Now I don't have to stretch it because I already know where the center is. It's where that, you know, the center line is. And then I'm going to bring the bottom in at the 3 inch from here, and then the top in. And then I'm going to rubber band it there. So we got a long tail. Let's cut this little piece off. Okay, and we're going to cut some of this bulk off. So that's the, okay, and then I'm going to put this inside of my lolly petal, just to be different. But fits right into that little cup that we made here on the, with the lolly petal. And then I'm going to put this whole thing right into the zip tie. And zip it up. Just something different. Make sure it's centered in there. Now you won't see from here down because we are going to put some petals on row 5. But that's what we have. Don't forget we're going to have a red center, so that's kind of pulling some of the red in. So I will do that again. Top to the bottom, edge here. Take your left side. I'm just going a little bit over that center. Still this edge. Get a nice pointy tip here. And I'm going to bring the 3 inch. Bring that into the middle, the top into the middle, and I'm going to put a rubber band around it. Okay, and then when I flip it over, it looks like a feather. Cut some of the bulk off, and there we go. this in. We could even do it smaller. If you want to do it a little bit smaller, all you have to do is move your elastic band up. There we go. So the more you move your band up or put into the zip tie, the smaller your petal gets. I'm gonna put it right inside my little lolly petal here and put the whole thing in. I think I want it to kind of stick out a little bit. Now, if you just want to do a normal sunflower, you can just continue on doing with your Dean Michael petal. I just thought it'd be a little different to try something. Where do I keep putting my elastics? Here they are. Pretty. So again, all our poly burlap, all of it, even the plaid, the window pane, all of it is on sale right now for 24 hours. At 25% off. Also, our bling rope, which I did show all the colors of it, of our bling rope at the beginning of the live. The bling rope, my friends, are so pretty as flower centers. Like, it really gives it that shine. So if you have a door that the sun hits all the time, you definitely want to put some bling rope on there because it will catch people's eye. That is for sure. Like I said, I'm just playing around with the different colors of mesh. I think it's going to look kind of cool. This one I think is a little, it's the beginning one, and I did it a little shorter than the others, but that's okay. It's my wreath, so it's not a big deal. How many more do I need? 1, 2, 3. Now I'm not wood burning this because, like I said, there is no outside edges being shown on this petal. This petal or this red petal that I'm making. You would only need one package of the bling rope for 6-inch. I did a 5-inch, and I have 33 inches still left. You guys are going to have to stay tuned right after me to Sharon. Sharon is really good with using poly burlap and coming up with really cool designs. She is going to be on at 4, so in about 50 minutes. Hopefully I'll be done. I should be done. Get your drink and everything while you're watching me so you can pay attention to Sharon, because she's got a cool design for you guys. Bling rope, I actually am the one that found bling rope years ago and brought it to everybody's attention in the wreathing community. But now there's bling rope, people selling bling rope all over the place. Oh, do I have to make another lolli petal? Make one more. Shoot. And my lolli is home from school. That's exciting. I had to pick her up yesterday. Oh, that's right. I used this and I glued it. I'll make another one. The nice thing about poly burlap too, it does really well outdoors. But again, you have to make sure you either make sure there's no edges shown or wood burn it. See how round? It looks like a lollipop. That's the lolli. Make sure you check out the wreath kits today. They are the 2 wreath kits, they're awesome. They're everyday wreath kits. I'm hoping to keep a bunch of everyday wreath kits always on our website because the everyday wreaths are perfect for gift giving, or if you're going, you know, for a host gift or whatever. Just a wreath that says hello or hi or welcome is a perfect, you know, if somebody bought a new house, a housewarming gift, they make great gifts. Okay, that is the last one in there. I'll fix these later. I just wanted them to stick out the top just a bit more. That's different, right? It gives it some dimension. It's not so flat. You could even do yellow lolly with a yellow feather petal in the center like that as well. That would look really cute. And now I'm going to do row 5, and then we're going to put our center in. You can see there is 2 holes right in the center of the board. Those 2 holes will put your flower center exactly in the center where it's supposed to be. So my friends, if you love to make flower wreaths and you're using a wire frame, I'm telling you, just try a board. It saves so much time, so much money, more time and supplies. Like seriously, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the owner. It's true story. And you don't have to worry, especially if you get it from the dollar store, you don't have to worry about your frame breaking and welding it. I've seen people doing a live and then they're waiting for the, you know, that liquid weld. I would never sell a wreath that I'm liquid welding. I'm sorry. Okay, and I'm just going to use simple, I'm just going to break it up a bit and put some yellow, just yellow, the feather petals in. So they're made the exact same way I made the red ones. So you can see that the red, how cute is that? The red is peeking through the 2 yellow. Cute, right? Something different. So on row 5, I am using the normal holes and the shared holes. So I'll show you the back because the back looks like just a bunch of stitching. So we're just doing 8 of these. But I love how the red's just peeking out. And again, I have the seam facing downwards. If you face it upwards, it'll give your wreath, again, a total different look. Did I drop one? Oh my gosh, do I have to make one more? I do. To make one more of those. inches. I'm just going to cut this. I don't need to band it. Just make sure they're all the same length. Okay, we are done. Now we're just going to put our center in. And we got a unique looking flower. It's going to look stunning in between my two outdoor chairs that I just got. The chairs are red cushions with yellow, red throw pillows. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's put this beautiful center in. So what you're going to do is take I'll flip it over. So even though we got all this stuff in the front, the back, all you see is little stitching. It looks like stitching. And I'm going to go right in the center, one pipe cleaner right here, one pipe cleaner right there. And that will put my center right in the middle. Now I have a little bit of bulk in the center. I didn't trim them down much, but that's okay. Just move around the mesh. And you can see the holes. There's the other one. Oh my. Oh, I do love this. Okay, you can give it a good pull, especially if you use the cable mounts. That ain't going anywhere. Pull it tight and then twist. Give it a few twists on the back there. We are going to cut the excess pipe cleaner off. Put it back down those holes. And we have a nice, neat back. And we're going to put a zip tie right above the Unique in the Creek sign. You'll be able to feel that there's these two holes. You'll see that they're kind of divoted in. You just put a zip tie right there and you make a hanger. And there we go. Ooh, that is pretty. That is going to look good with my furniture. Isn't that pretty? Different. There's the side. And like I said, it is 28 inches in diameter. Now you can go around and clip off any little strings you see. The strings are usually coming from the inside of the double dean, but we don't want to see those. So let's see what the green might have looked nice. Even the black. So you can mix and match. Like, look at the colors that these come in. And poly burlap comes in all kinds of fabulous colors too. So, you know, you can do red, white, and blue with a silver center. You could do red and white with a blue center if you're doing patriotic. At Christmas, we got the emerald green, lime green. Lime green will go with anything. You can do some pinks. So put a hot pink at the outside and maybe the pink in the center. Anyways, and then there's rose gold. There's gold. Do a dark, all dark purple poly burlap with a lavender center. If you love your purples, that looks stunning because I've done it before. Black goes with anything. So you can do black poly burlap, maybe with a white window pane mesh on row 3, and then the black rhinestone center. You know, sky's the limit. It really is. But mix and match your colors if you want. Then you don't use, you know, I opened this red mesh. I only used 8 pieces, so I got lots more if I need to make another one. I might make a reverse one where I do it all red and do these inner ones yellow. That would look cool too with the red center. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me. And don't forget, the sale ends tomorrow, I believe, at 12:59 in the afternoon. So it started today at 1 p.m. It'll end tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get your burlap, your poly burlap, you get your bling rope, you can get your half balls already cut, cable mounts, your Chanel stems, your zip ties. We have everything that you need. Even if you want a pair of these, we have these as well. We have scissors, we have clips, we have it all. So thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to see what flower wreaths you guys make. Bye, everybody.